Happy today. Happy today. What a great day it is. Hey, so we have completed about 5 patterns, and we are going to go ahead and do a little review here and see what we have. So let's open the TukaDesign program. I'm going to double click on the Tuka icon there. And this says my license is about to expire in about 2 days. That means my subscription, that I have a monthly subscription and it's going to reactivate in 2 days and they're going to take their money out my bank. So let's go ahead and go to File, Open, and whatever folder that we have our patterns in, we're going to select the pattern that we want. We're going to start off and look at our DM100 basic t-shirt, because this is where our first pattern was. So we made and we're going to go to the measure tool here, and we're going to measure the length from the high point shoulder straight down to the hem. We made a 23-inch t-shirt with a 8-inch short sleeve. This is our basic t-shirt. And from here, we then on and made several other patterns. So let's go to File. And we don't have to go to File, Open. We can kind of look down at the bottom and see the last 4 patterns that we made. And if this is the one of the ones that we want, we can select from down here. But it doesn't seem that we have the next number in the series available here at the bottom. So I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to say open. Save changes. I didn't do anything to this, so I'm going to say no. And I'm going to find 101, which is the tunic. So we decided that this is our tunic length, which is from the high point shoulder down to the hem, is 31 inches. So this is our tunic tee with a 3/4 length sleeve. And our sleeve length for 3/4 is about 18 inches. So that was like, I think, our second pattern. With a contrasting crew necks with a contrasting neckband. All right, our next pattern, let's see if we have a save changes. No, no changes were made. We have a 102. Okay. We have a 102, which was made from the tunic. So it's the same length as the tunic. It just has no sleeve because a muscle tee tends to go out to the shoulder, no sleeve. And we adjusted the seam allowance on the armhole, this seam tool, little sewing machine. We made it 0.062. Let me just go ahead and show you that. Seam, we touch from the underarm to the shoulder, and our seam allowance, even though it's raw, we put something on. So we will not have any problems with these other seams turning corresponding to one another. Sometimes there's an issue. So I put seam allowance on all seams. Even though it's raw, I'm using the very smallest that I use in seam allowance is 0.062. Okay, so I'm not going to apply that. It's already there. And so that's that pattern. Then we moved on. Let's go to File, Open again. We moved on and made, looks like we made the A-line dress. So we made an A-line dress, and let's put all the pieces on the screen. So this is an A-line dress with the same crew neck, and we're going to start adjusting our necks and get into some different style as we move forward. But I believe we used a fullness, and let's just, if I wanted to add more fullness, I would go to add fullness. I would touch at my hem, just placing a point where you want the fullness to be. I'm going to okay that, and I come to the shoulder. You place a point where you want the fullness to spread from. and then you say okay. And then on the direction of the fullness, we want this one over here. We're going to turn and make sure it's going this direction. And then say if we wanted to add 1 more inch, and we say, watch the hem now. Watch the hem when I say okay. See that fullness? So whatever you do to the back, pretty much you want to do to the front. So looks a little flat in here. So let's go ahead and add a little bit more fullness on the front. That's where we want the fullness to generate from the shoulder. It's going to spread from there. It's going to stay at 0 here. Okay, so that's where we're adding the point, and we turning in that same direction, the 1 inch. If we wanted a little more, we can make a change there. If we wanted a little less, so let's do 1.5. That's 1.5, and we added a little bit more fullness to the hem. Okay, so I am going to, well, I can't just leave it like that because we have these grade points down. I'll move this a little bit. And because we already had a nice curve there, I'm going to just remove the grade points by touching all of them. Select tool, just touching all of the grade points I want to delete. And on my keyboard, the delete key, I'm just going to delete them because I know that that hem was already slightly curved. Okay, so I'm going to zoom up on this other piece. I'm in select tool, gonna grab all the grade points that I want to delete, and I'm going to delete them. Okay, so I just modified my A-line dress to be a little bit more swingy. And then if I want to save this, I can go ahead and go to save. Just save because it is, I don't have to do file save as. It is already in the area, the folder that I want it to be in. So I'm not going to save this, but I do want to show us, we also did take a look at our Excel. So we wanted to start typing in our pattern information. So in our pattern card, which is an Excel file, you have the style number that comes in. We have a description that we put on the knit t-shirt. So everything, since we referenced the knit block, everything is still there from the knit block. So we can say that this is a knit A-line dress. And we can change, we have a measurement that our target measurement. We're gonna change that 23 inches. That was our first basic t-shirt. And I believe this dress is 41 inches long. Our seam, our construction information is at the same. I believe it's the same. Okay, and so then we would say Excel, and then our pattern card will come up. I'm going to launch Excel. If we wanted to add this to another Excel file, we would put append and attach it to another file. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. And when it's ready, it's going to show up at the bottom of our screen. Okay, here is our pattern card. It gives you the company, if you have put that info in the computer, excuse me, and gives you the date and time that you made it. The style file tells you where you have saved the file, okay, and the style number. And you have the style name that is attached to it. It's this, your pattern name is here. And then if you type the description in, basic knit A-line dress, we did a yield, which we'll learn how to do maybe in the next session. You'll go ahead and type that here. And the base size that you have, your size grading base size is here. We scroll down and we see that our pattern pieces, our front, our back, our sleeve, this is important to the cutters, this information here, so they keep track of how many pieces are in the pattern. And then in our code, we had our cut information. And we made this dress from the added shrinkage, so that scale information is still on the pattern. So it's just not the body measurements, it's added fullness was added in when we did shrink and scale. That information is here. And if we check the box to show our pattern pieces, that will be here in the draw area. So then we're going to scroll up a little bit more. If we had a trim, we'll go in this area. The measurement that we said that our target length for the dress is here. We typed in, and then our construction information is right here. So this is our pattern card. When you close it, then the computer will ask if you want to save it. And of course, you're going to say yes. Now, from the dress, we made a button front dress that we started on. We didn't finish it. We got it started. So let's go to File. And the next, I think it's going to be 501. So we're going to go File. File, Open. Save changes. Did I make any changes? I did, but I don't want to save it. So I'm going to say no. 501, button front. We could say button front dress, but you don't want the description in your pattern number to get too long. Okay, so we could abbreviate if we wanted to. So we just took the same dress. We adjusted the front. So let's just only talk about the front right now. And if we only wanted the front on the screen, we're going to touch the front and we're going to say, if you're on a laptop, you'll use the FN key that's on your laptop keyboard, FN, and the function keys at the top, F9. And that will give you only the one piece that you had touched, highlighted, that put that on your screen. If you're on a desktop, you just hit the function keys at the top, F9. So what we did, we took the set half off by deleting the half. We cannot do it now, but we can see that it's delete half is right next to set half. So it has a X in it. I believe it's probably red when you're ready to delete half of the piece. You just touch the piece and say delete half. It knows that it was already set half, so it will delete the other side. And after we did that, we went ahead and extended our front. We went to and used extend parallel. We highlighted the line that we wanted to extend the front, and we used extend parallel, and we put we extended it 5/8 of an inch, is 0.625. We said, okay, I'm not going to extend this one because it's already done. Extending parallel, okay? After we did that, and the front line is already still highlighted, we went to seam allowance, and then we put in our placket width that we want it to be. So if the center front is extended 5/8 of an inch, that means your placket width really is like 1 1/4. But then we decided to put 1.5 inches for our front turn back. Okay, 1.5 for our front turn back. If we wanted, and then we also did click turn back because we do want to follow. We want to follow. If we did not, this will just kind of be straight. It will be straight. If you wanted to make a double turn placket, I would suggest that you make it the same width as your instead of adding the extra quarter for your stitch line, your stitch, and then you have a little bit of seam past the stitch that we will have here, I suggest you make it the same width. So 1¼ I'm going to do this one and just show you all we have to do is add double seam. Okay, and apply it. And now we have a double turn. That means you don't have to use inner lining. You can just turn this twice for your button front. You can turn it twice. The fabric itself will give enough stability. And sometimes you just want to double turn if you know you're going to launder or dye your garments and you're not using interlining fusible. Okay, so I'm going to take this back to 1½ as we had it in our class. So I'm just going to backspace that off. Going to take off double the seam, apply it, and it goes back to where it was. I'm going to okay that, and we're out of there. Another thing we did is we added a dart on the side. So I'm just going to show you, just do a little demonstration of how we added a dart. Say I'm going to now add another decorative dart. So I'm going to sit a point down on my side seam, no particular measurement right now, grade point, okay that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the line that will, the part of the pattern piece that the dart will come from. So our dart will be coming from the front seam. I'm just going to place a grade point there. I'm just eyeing this out right now. Now, if I wanted to go to darts and I want to insert a dart, that means the computer is actually going to, oh, excuse me, I have highlighted the wrong area. I haven't highlighted. Sorry. I'm sorry. I have to highlight where I want the dart to go. Okay. So all this area has now turned a different color. That's where I want the dart to go. So now I'm going to hit darts and I'm going to say insert dart. So now a chart comes up asking me what is the width of the dart that I want. So I want this dart to be 1 inch. And you have to specify the direction that you want the dart to lay. Okay. I'm going to say, oh, okay. And then that gives me my dart. I don't have to name my dart, but I do need to say the depth that I want. So say I want, this is a decorative dart. I want this dart to be 6 inches. So you'll see that first it was set already at 4. So you can see the shadow of, let me zoom up. No, I can't zoom up while I'm in this function right now. You can see right here is the diameter, the tip of the dart, and then where the punch mark will be, draw mark actually, because we can signify if this is draw or drill and all that. We have to be careful in the digital system because all of these things mean something. So if we do drill and we sent the pattern to a company that had a automatic cutter, they will drill a hole into the pattern pieces. I don't like any of my fabrics to drill any holes anymore. It's too dangerous. You come up with too many damages. Anyway, so I just adjusted that 4 to 6, and you can see here at the red mark, where the red marks are, is where this dart will end. Diameter is the circle around the dart, or the length of the mark. And then the distance from the top is we generally say it's the dart tip. It's saying here it's the dart top. So we're going to say we want this placement to be a 1/2 inch from the tip of the dart. And that's generally standard. And we're going to okay that, and we should be able to see a new dart. Now notice how it adjusted our front, because the dart, when you're making a dart, it will swing. And if you have a Generally, if you have a placket, you want it to be straight. So you can either delete this point here. I'm going to delete it. And if you wanted to keep this exactly the same, you did not want to add any width, because if we say align this horizontally, we're going to be adding width to the bottom. Now, if we had some target measurements that we're trying to achieve, we will be adding width. Let's go ahead and demonstrate. If we went to align and we said our stable point to align to horizontally will be the first point, we hit, see, we add width, but we don't want to do that. So we're going to undo. Now what we need to do is we need to, and this time it's a little bit unusual, but we're going to go from the bottom up to the top. And this is a straight line that we want the grain line now to follow. Watch the grain line as I do. I want the grain line parallel to this segment. So it's just adjusting the grain line. Notice that the grain line just became a little bit jagged. Okay, so now the grain line is parallel. If I go to internals, move internals, and move it closer to the front, it's parallel to this line here. Okay, you don't move your grain line, move internal. Now I want to rotate. I'm going to rotate the piece to the grain line, right? So we're going to just touch. It's already highlighted, and now it's all straight. It's all straight. We didn't add any additional width down here at the bottom. Okay. We also talked about touching the tip of the dart. You decide you don't want that dart anymore. You're just going to go to darts, and you're going to close the dart. Close the dart. Okay. Then you got to go and fix all that again. Okay. But we got to go ahead and make sure we can open it back up. I don't think I touched it too much to cause any damage. We can open dart. There it is. But it did adjust something. I moved something. Okay. So I'm going to undo. And then I'm just going to touch the tip of the dart here. And I think I can say, can I delete it? Edit dart. Oh, deleting is actually, let's show you this. Deleting is a simple, we closed it. So you're just going to use your keyboard and hit delete. Then you're going to go ahead and delete that point there. Let's go ahead and align this front. It's a little bit off. So we're going to make the grain line parallel, and we're going to hit rotate. It's back straight. Now, say this bust dart, we decided, I'm going to zoom up here. Say we decided after the fitting that the dart tip needs to move, needs to be angled a little bit. We're going to go ahead and touch the tip of the dart, go back to dart, and we're going to say rotate the dart point. So we're going to get a little tail, and where we rotate, I'm going to just do a drastic so you can see the change. Now, when I say I want to move this up just iron it out about 1 inch, notice what's going to happen over here at the side seam. It changed the angle because the sewing angle, side seam angle will be different, okay? So we can go to dart, any changes that you want to do. You can, if you needed to fix the dart, say one side was folding a little funny than the other, you can make those changes here, okay? You can cut out the dart. Anything you want to do with dart, this is the function. This is the part of the menu that you would adjust your dart. So I'm going to just undo that, and get back to where we had it. And I'm going to put our pieces back on the screen. Edit, arrange, work area. I want all the pieces on the screen here that are in the file. We went ahead and we adjusted our collar. So we didn't quite finish. And what we're going to do with this neckband is we're going to end up adjusting the measurements um, to the center front and the center back. We're going to adjust, but we're going to do that next time. So see you next time. See you in class. Bye now. Hey there. Hey there, family. So look, I forgot something that we also did. So let's go ahead and go back here. So after we did the style, the muscle tee, we go to file open. We also did a lady tee. So I want to talk about the lady tee because in the lady tee, we added, I'm going to zoom up so you can see this scale information. So we added percentage to the pattern pieces equally, 7% by 7%. So 7% on the length and 7% on the width. So therefore, everything is moved proportionally that we had on the screen. So what we did, we took the neckband off of the screen. So I'm just going to do that with delete right now. And we went to piece, scale, and in proportions, it is the proportional, so you don't have to put the percentage sign after. You're just going to say 7 by 7. And in your increments, you can see how the length and the width will increase. We made sure that we had all the pieces checked on the working area because you could do the entire style, pieces on the working area, or the current piece only. Like we did that with the neckband, but in this case, we want all the pieces that are on the working area. And we made sure that we added the scale information. We checked that. We can uncheck it, and then the scale information would not be there. And another thing is, if you wanted to scale your seams, you would check that. But we never want to scale our seams because our seam allowance is either a quarter of an inch or a half inch. We do not want any scaling to be involved with our seam allowance. So we're just going to check add scale info to piece description. You would say, okay, but of course I don't need to because our pattern is already done. So you will see I showed you the front already. You would see on the back that it has the scale information and also on the sleeve that it had the scale information. So I want to make sure we went over that because we did piece, scale, and shrink.